is Motorsport Radio. Join the conversation and have your say on motorsport-radio.com. Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Superbike Show here on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. We are live right now, back on a Thursday, and we are talking about Superbikes, MotoGP and World Superbikes, and all the latest, biggest breaking news from around the world, including some big breaking news just broken in the last half hour. Also about National Superstock 1000 rider and team. We'll be bringing you more about that in just minutes. So, what is on the show this evening? Because we are live, we will be taking your comments and your questions and your reactions as well. So, throughout the show, so do get interactive with us. It's at M Sport Radio on Twitter. It's Motorsport Radio on Facebook, and you can also leave a comment in the comments box wherever you're tuned into this. We are streaming in visual radio this evening all over the Facebooks, on the Twitters, on the YouTubes, and on motorsport.radio as well. And you can also download this show as an audio podcast or stream it in audio as well. We're simulcasting everything all over the place, just in case you might miss it. Hopefully you won't. Why would you? And you don't even need a subscription to tune into to our shows here on Motorsport Radio. That's how good this really is. We're giving it away for free. We're not going to beg you and ask you for subscriptions or anything like that, or anyway, no, I won't get into all that. But this show is absolutely free, and it always will be for you. You can get involved with us tonight because we will be looking back at what happened. Amongst other things, yes, I know you're all dying to know what happened at last weekend's Coolfab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship round. Yes, the fifth round in the 2018 season that's seen many, many great, fabulous riders come through the ranks and now racing in the likes of BSB and soon to be MotoGP World Champions, no doubt, and also a recent Suzuka 8-hour rider, or a couple of riders at least, were racing, having graduated from Coolfab. Kiko and Danmar will be somehow teleporting themselves back to Red Lodge, where the championship was at the weekend, to bring you a review of everything that happened and the big names to watch out for in the future. So even if you're not a big, massive fan of mini bikes, then two people who were watching and can tell you about people to watch out for later in the show. So that's coming up. Also, later in the programme, we'll be looking ahead to this weekend's weekend at Thruxton. It's BSB back in action, plus the Czech Grand Prix Brno. It's MotoGP. Kiko with a massive preview about where you can get your local black puddings from in Brno. And he actually joins us right now, Kiko, back on the show once again. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Lester. Great to be reunited with an old sparring partner like yourself. A couple of weeks away. We've been busy live broadcasting, as you say, from Red Lodge for the fifth round of the Coolfab British Mini Bikes Championship, but we are back on our usual time slotting. Is it good to be back or what? Can't wait to get into this show. Lots to talk about. And we have some breaking news straight away.
Yeah, breaking news in the last half hour or so, because it was revealed on the old social medias that Team IMR rider in National Superstock 1000, Jordan Gilbert, has, for reasons that only he knows, he's quit the team. He announced this literally in the last few minutes, Kiko.
Yeah, bit of a shock, I must admit. He had a really difficult Brands Hatch, couple of crashes, wasn't able to take part in any of the races. There was 3 races at Brands Hatch, but he's had a brilliant season up until then. Really good, caught a lot of people by surprise, really going around his business very, very well indeed. Jordan Gilbert, that is number 96 Team IMR rider, came up from stock 600 last year, having been a race winner for Mission Racing. And unfortunately, for whatever reasons that only him and the team and whoever else knows, he is not going to be part of Team IMR anymore. Where we actually don't know, it's not that we're not saying why, we don't know ourselves. So yeah, a bit of a shock, a little bit catching us a bit off guard, I think we'd be fair to say. But Jordan Gilbert, the latest casualty of an ever-changing National Superstock 1000 grid. That is the 12th one this year. We've only had 6 rounds.
Yeah, the actual comments, the actual statement on the Twitter or Facebook, on his social media anyway, apologise, first of all, for the lack of updates, if you're a Jordan Gilbert fan, of course. He says he has decided to part company with Team IMR. This is a quote directly from his Facebook. He says, after a difficult Brands Hatch meeting last time out, I felt this was the best decision for my career. Unfortunately, I won't be at Thruxton this weekend. We are actively looking for a ride for the rest of the season, despite this. Thank you to all my sponsors for the support so far. I will be sure to keep you posted. Hashtag 96, hashtag we will be back. Well, we have reached out to Jordan Gilbert this evening for a further statement and invited him to come on to the show. Understandably, he either didn't want to or was probably too busy to reply, sorting a ride out for himself. We're not going to speculate about as to the reasons why, but yeah, certainly it's a bit of a shambles, Kiko.
Not just with that though. It's, in all honesty, a bit of a shambles across the whole Stock 1000 class at the moment. There were so many riders coming and going. We couldn't keep up 2 weeks ago. We still can't keep up now. We're at the front of round 7, really. This is Thruxton coming up this weekend. Of course, we'll come on and talk to you about that in much greater detail later on in the show. But we are 7 rounds nearly in, and there are still riders leaving, still teams unhappy, still politics going on in the background. Very, very difficult scenario for teams and riders alike to keep on top of. So many riders coming onto the market. It's been a really strange season this year. Nothing like this happened last year. It was very, very calm, very, very kind of orderly. It was all very orderly. Everyone was very happy.
It was it's been normal.
It was almost like a world championship level of professionalism. And I had a phone call with a team owner 2 weeks ago. I won't name and shame, but he said it's threatening the credibility of the professionalism and of the championship.
Well, that's what I said on the last couple of shows.
Not just the way that riders are leaving, but the way teams are handling it and the way teams are pinching riders from here and there and everywhere. Very difficult situation. We're not going to dwell on it. We've got loads more news to bring you across all of the championships around the world, including some that isn't actually on our preview plan because I forgot to put it in, but I've just remembered it now. But there's loads of news to come. But yeah, Jordan Gilbert, the latest casualty, National Superstock 1000 rider, out of a ride. He has left Team IMR, QuinsThePrinters.com outfit based in the Isle of Man.
So what's next for Jordan Gilbert? If you have any suggestions, if you're maybe a fan of Mr. G, and you want to see him in any particular team, let us know where you think he should go, if at all it's feasible. I suppose, given what's happened so far this year, anything is possible anywhere. So it doesn't even matter if there is a ride available. Do you fancy him in any particular team, maybe? And will he even be back on a bike? I'm sure he will, because he's a good lad and he's certainly talented enough. But yeah, if you're tuned in, Jordan, then get back on your bike. Literally.
Yes.
So back to other news, other scheduled news, and starting off in MotoGP, Kiko.
MotoGP, not massive news coming from the MotoGP paddock this weekend, really. It's been a very quiet couple of weeks away from MotoGP because they were on their summer holiday, which has been cut down a weekend. That was all the news that really's come out. Federico Fellini, the Forward Racing Junior team rider, he's going to miss Brno. He's got a fractured bone, which is an unfortunate incident that occurred in training. Other news for our Italian fans that do tune in, you're lucky. MotoGP is going to be on Sky Italy for the next 3 years. Now, I know I obviously don't have Sky Italy. I know the coverage is fantastic. I've seen it firsthand. They put so much effort into that production. Good idea, that, to keep it there. Other MotoGP news, Sheridan Morais, South African, is going to be riding in the Moto2 Championship as a wild card this weekend at Brno. Little bit of kind of MotoGP news. Tony Elias has got his own race team. The reigning AMA Moto America Superbike champion has got his new team out that will be racing in various championships around the world. I imagine CEV is going to be one of the major ones, as well as CIV and probably other championships as well. So Tony Elias, ex-MotoGP rider and World Superbike rider, launching his new team. And also some last-minute news that really did just come in the last day or so. The first images of the MV Agusta Moto 2 project have been released. Here they are. Wonderful looking thing. That is, you'll notice that it has actually got an MV Agusta badge on the tank instead of powered by Honda or powered by Triumph, because the engine is a Triumph engine for next year, not an MV Agusta. But that is their bike they're going to be putting out. They're teaming up with Giovanni Cazzari's Ford Racing team, which is Italian-based Swiss, and they will be running their outfit like that next year. Obviously, we're going to have some new colours on that bike, but that looks an absolute demon. That I cannot wait to see how that goes.
Yeah, it like you say, it does look. It looks all right, I'd say. Not maybe not the world's greatest.
No,
but
but it looks good.
It's decent. Yeah, it's a good effort.
I believe we do later on in the show, or maybe very soon. That MV Agusta is a little bit different to how MV Agusta started off in the Championship of MotoGP, but we'll come back to that later.
Yes, certainly. Now, do you think maybe there's a time to limit how much on-bike training that teams allow their riders to do in season? This is something that maybe a few people have mentioned as being, I don't know, a cause for concern. Is it even a thing, do you think?
I did an article about this last year. I was on a train at the time in Italy, and I was out
not training.
No, not training. Very good. I see the dad jokes have caught on to the other side of the studio. No, I was on a train in Italy last year, heading down from Bologna to Cattolica. It was the San Marinese Grand Prix. Valentino Rossi wasn't there because he'd had a training incident. And at the time, everyone was saying, oh, well, you can't go and do training. It's obscene and people are dying. And they're not. But, you know, it's ending championship prospects and whatnot. And I just think it's ludicrous to think that way, because at the end of the day, bike fitness is so important in the modern day motorcycle race. So you can be as fit as you like. You can be as fit as a triathlete. You can be as fit as a cyclist. You can be as fit as a
butcher's
jockey.
dog.
You can be as fit as a butcher's dog. But if you're not bike fit, then you're not really much use. That's how I'd argue. It's very important to stay fit on the bike. Now, in order for that to happen, because of the limited testing days and whatnot, I mean, Valentino Rossi's in an okay situation. He can go out on his R6 in his Riders Academy and his R1 around Misano. But at the same time, he also does a bit of dirt bike riding, as does almost every single short circuit racer, road racer does in the world. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. If you banned it, if you wrote into a contract, you're not doing that, you're not allowed to carry out this aspect of training, in a way you are neglecting yourself. It is at a rider's risk, and it is also a choice. But I'm not a fan of banning things in any form of life anyway. But it is a choice that the rider is making, and they know the risks anyway. I don't need to go into all that cliche rubbish, but it is training. I mean, it's only like in football. The only way you train to be a good footballer, you can be Usain Bolt speed. But if you're no good with a football, you're not going to be a great footballer.
So where do you draw the line then? Between training and testing and...
I don't know. I don't think you need to. I think as long as the rider accepts that it's their responsibility and whatever goes wrong is on their shoulders, I don't think the teams need to be too worried about it. I really don't. Because if you look at all the riders that do go dirt bike racing or dirt bike training or whatever, very few of them are injured. If you looked at all of them, I'd say 4 get injured a year, 4 or 5, maybe 6. But no, it's not the entire grid. If we're talking the entire grid, obviously it needs to change. A little bit like road racing. Of all the people that go road racing, the chances of you being part of the very, very small percentage of people that don't come back from road racing are, I don't know, not slim, but they're not in the favour of the worst outcome. You know, if so, then the racing probably wouldn't happen. If there was more fatalities than there was survivors, then you'd probably put an end to it. But they don't, because the number of fatalities is quite small in respect of the total amount of people going to the event to race. It's an argument people don't always look at. So same applies for training on dirt bikes. If the rider's comfortable with it, why stop them? Let us know your thoughts. Join the conversation, of course, at M Sport Radio on Twitter. Comment below if you are on Facebook, and if you're listening live, don't forget to share the link at www.motorsport.radio to all your friends so they can tune in as well. Let us know what you think.
Exactly. Yes, we will read any of the good comments out. Only the good ones. Don't send any bad ones.
Yes, don't send any negative comments.
We might do, depending. I don't know.
Because
if you make it funny, we'll read it out.
Yeah, might.
Right. So, other news then. Did we finish with the MotoGP and Moto2 thing? Is that done now?
We have done for now, yes.
Okay.
There is some more news to come, though. World Superbikes.
Yes.
Sticky subject of Argentina. Never far away from controversies, Argentina. They're building a new circuit, as you know, in the San Juan province of the country. Now, some people say that this is on track. Now, we're in August. We've got 2.5 months, nearly 3 months till this race is meant to be going ahead. We have an image here for some people, I believe, if you're visual radio listening and viewing. I'd go as far as saying this track will not happen this year, that this round is not going to happen. The Argentine round is, destined for flooring. I cannot see how this round is going to go ahead. It doesn't look like it's ready, I must say. It might be on schedule, but that schedule must be a very tight one.
There has been a lot of concern about the circuit. What was it called?
I think you mentioned it first. El Villicum is the circuit. I think you mentioned it first, Lester. At the start of the season, is it going to be another Circuit of Wales?
Yeah.
And at the time, I said no, and a lot of people said no because it was put out.
Turns out I was right.
Turns out you was right. Possibly. I'm just not sure it's going to go ahead. I really don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, how is it going to cope infrastructurally? Is it going to be sustainable to host an okay round? Will they want to go back? What if things aren't done for next year?
Well, how long have they got till it's actually needed to be ready? Like how many months now?
It's the end of October, so we're in August. We have 2 and a bit months. 2 and 3/4 months.
Tell you what, I'll try and find a picture of it later and put it up on the show later for you, just for our visual radio viewers. And if you're not tuned in visually, if you're just tuned in the old-fashioned way, in your ears, then head over to any of our social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, and you can actually watch our Face for Radios.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
You can. Well, they're not always on Facebook, though. They are also on Twitter.
Yep.
So hopefully, anyway, they should be. So tune in on there as well. Of course, let us know what you think.
All right. What other World Superbike news is breaking or has broken?
World Superbike news. World Superbike sees Leon Haslam go over to join Jonathan Rea at Kawasaki. Now, that means that the Kawasaki seats are fully done and dusted. No room for Tom Sykes. We knew he was leaving the team anyway. Leon Haslam, 35 years old. He's older than Jonathan Rea, and he's going to be a number 2 rider. I'm looking forward to how that one pans out. I must admit, very exciting prospect. He's another Brit in World Superbikes. I'm not sure that's too good for World Superbikes in terms of rebranding globally. But it's a big enough name, Leon Haslam, off to World Superbikes. That's your British Superbike series leader. Let us know how you think that's going to go.
Yeah, certainly an interesting development, let's say, in World Superbikes. Also, another much talked about pairing, I would say, in World Superbikes. Van der Mark and Alex Lowe's, could they potentially be the riders to beat in the remaining rounds, do you think? Just putting it out there, just a thought.
Yes, I do, because if you look at last year, both riders came back and were pretty quick, let's be honest. They were quick. 4 rounds of this season left to go for World Superbikes after they've had their 9-year summer break. I do not. 4? Wow. I think, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, because they obviously can't go to any circuit in the world to have the route. But that's another discussion. Read my latest World Superbike article, find out how it can be saved. Yes, I do. Van der Mark and Lowe's both came very, very good at the end of last year. Podiums were almost an expectation. They were regularly achieved. They're already both race winners this year. So, exciting times. I don't know if they can... I don't think they're going to win the championship. I'm not saying that. But it's going to be so interesting to see how it both goes. Michael van der Mark and Alex Lowe's, the number 60 and the number 22. Keep your eyes out for them. Pata Yamahas. And they are going to be quick.
Yeah, Van der Mark already doing the business thing. How many is he? Just won the one race this year? I forget.
2 races. Done the double at Brands Hatch. Sorry, flashback to a decade ago. Donington Park. 200 to 1 he was to win race 1, and he did.
Yes. All right then. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, if you disagree, more importantly, with what Kiko says, then feel free to jump on.
Why would you do that?
And put him straight, and we'd be interested to know what you think. Anyway, is Van der Mark and Alex Lowe's going to do the business? Are they going to be the pairing for the standout pair? For the remainder of the World Superbike season? Let us know your thoughts. We are live right now. This is the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio. Hello and welcome to any new listeners and for tuned in wherever you are all over the world. We've got a large contingent of followers and listeners all over the world. So hello, welcome. I probably should learn a different language just to welcome you.
Marhaban if you're Arabic, buongiorno if you're Italian, bonjour if you're Spanish, if you're French, sorry.
Yeah, this is why I don't.
What's
shall we just
Spanish for hello?
Shall we just...
Gibraltar is ours, that's what it is.
Before Kiko starts a war. Right, on to other news then, and back to BSB, because there's been some interesting news regarding Honda and what many people seem to think is a bit of a cursed team.
It's a bit of a disaster at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, Honda's struggling, but what an exciting prospect we have in store. Lincolnshire's Tom Neve has got the chance of a lifetime to go and replace Dan Linfoot until Dan is better. The Yorkshireman is out with a wrist injury at the moment. So Tom Neve, stock 1000 revelation, of course. He has been nothing short of superb in the last few rounds. He has got the chance to go and join Jason O'Halloran at the Honda Racing UK team in British Superbikes. Unbelievable news there. That is in the blue ribboned class. That is in the Superbike class. And I tell you, we're going to come on a bit more to this. Thruxton can throw up some really weird results. If he's in the top 10, you heard it here first. Tom Neve, great signing for Honda. Until, of course, Dan Linfoot is better.
Are you saying that he will be in the top 10?
I'm saying he has a very good chance of being in the top 10.
I see. We'll pin him down on on maybe another prediction later, so I can prove that he was possibly wrong. But yeah, right. Good news though.
Very good news,
and something that we will wait to see. And
going to be brilliant fun.
Kiko will wait to take the credit if Tom does anywhere near as good as maybe getting in the top 10. Probably he can. Yeah, who knows? So
very good bike he's on.
Yeah. It's not too bad. What else is happening in the BSB sort of support classes as well?
Well, more shuffling's gone around in the National Superstock 1000 class. It should be the National Shuffle Stock class, really, shouldn't it? I mean, it's just chaos at the moment. I think Claudio Corti is the latest rider to jump on the Stealth Quick Connect Academy bike. That is a very good machine prepared by Brent Gladwin's GR Motorsport team. Brian Starring had a fantastic run out of that at Brands Hatch, out inside the top 10 in all the races. Alistair Seeley, up until he departed the team, was top Kawasaki in the championship on that bike. So Claudio Corti, ex-GP star Claudio Corti, on that bike. That is going to be a very exciting prospect. He's been in MotoGP, Moto2, World Superbikes, FIM European Stock 1000. I think he's done a bit in Supersport. He's been in just about every class, and he's been relatively good in all of them, except maybe MotoGP, but that was at a time when the bikes were nowhere near as fair as what they are now. So keep your eyes out. The number 71 on a green and yellow Stealth Quick Connect Academy bike, stock 1000. More news, but this is more confirmed news. Carl Phillips will be the second rider at Morello Kawasaki for the remainder of the season. So he will partner Luke Jones until the season finale. And more Stock 1000 news. Blades Racing, who pulled out after Alton Park. They said they'd come back at Brands Hatch. I don't believe they did, so they have pulled out completely. Oh. So that is your Stock 1000 news. I think that's more Super Stock 1000 than it is British Superbikes. But shuffling all around, news everywhere.
Blimey. Well, I suppose, there's a lot. I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. I can't keep up with what's going on. I don't know who's even racing or right. I don't know. I don't even know who's in it anymore, to be honest. There's so many people coming and going. I suggested earlier in the show, a few weeks back, it might have been on our first show, I can't remember. It was whenever it was, that maybe, and a lot of people started like howling with laughter when I suggested this, but maybe we need some sort of a transfer window in bike racing to stop so much chaos. You can't have so many people up in and leaving. Well, clearly you can, but what I mean is, it doesn't look good for your championship. If I ran the championship, not that particular champ, but any championship, if I had a championship, I don't want half my grid just up in and leaving just because they're not winning races, basically. I at least want them to commit to a good half of a season, or at least a full season.
Or give it until they have the chance to leave. So that's where you bring in the transfer window.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will spice things up for the media as well, because it'll give us something extra to talk about.
Hyped coverage.
We could do like a Sky Sports transfer deadline day or something like that. And
we've already nicked their yellow, and I've got a yellow tie.
And I suppose, but that from our point of view, and that would just be a selfish suggestion, because we want to do a transfer deadline day live, and why not? I mean, no one else is doing it apart from in the football world. But yes, clearly something has to be done. This is becoming a bit of a worrying trend. Yes. Now I think,
and like this anonymous team owner said to me. In fact, there's multiple. Said to me on the phone, it's starting to threaten the credibility and professionalism that has always been the case in British Superbike sports. We've always seen riders come and go in BSB. Yeah. We see some riders aren't happy and teams aren't happy with their ride selection, but we've never seen it like this. And we're talking 12 rider changes in National Superstock 1000 alone.
This is before we go. More than that.
No, in Stock 1000. Now we go to British Superbikes. Then you go on to Supersport. Then you go to Stock 600. It's just an endless myriad of change. It's ridiculous at the moment. Anyway. It's not ridiculous. It's entertaining, but it's not great. Let's face it. And I must admit, for most of the people I've spoken to and liaised with, it's not teams. These are riders that are starting to get itchy feet and take themselves for a walk elsewhere. Yeah, not in every case. Can we? No, we must stress. But the ones who've come out and said that they're not in the position in the championship where they thought they'd be, therefore I'm leaving, sort of thing. That sort of thing. Yeah, you kind of think, well, listen, there's only ever going to be one winner in a race, and everyone else is technically a loser, aren't they? So, is that justification enough to up sticks and walk off? And maybe you've got a different thought on it. Maybe yes, if you have been a team owner, and I know team owners do tune into this show, then we're missing a point of view. Perhaps we're missing a different angle. Then let us know. We'd be welcoming your insight into this. Or perhaps, do you think if a rider whose heart it really isn't in it, just because they fell off the bike, or a bike had a problem or something, a couple of weekends didn't go their way, and then their head's not in it, do you kind of want them to leave anyway because it's unsettling your other guy on the other side of the garage, sort of thing? And it's bringing team morale down. And we should just mention, we just went through all that Stock 1000 news. Jordan Gilbert has also left Team IMR. We brought that to you, viewers, right at the start of the show. But just in case you missed out and just joined us for BSB News, Jordan Gilbert has left Team IMR, but we did bring you that at the start of the show as well. So, loads change.
The Claudio Corti then,
Yes.
who you seem to know a lot about. I don't know if you've been his PR manager at some point, but Corti, how well will he actually go in Stock 1000? More importantly, how long will he last?
Interestingly, the release said for Thruxton, so
Just
will he
for
be there?
yeah, well, that seems to be the trend, just like a couple of races.
I'm just checking how old he is. I believe Claudio Corti, 31. I was going to say 31. Claudio Corti is at an age where like I said, he's done a lot for his age. He's done a lot of racing in a load of championships, on a load of different spec bikes, on loads of different suspensions and tyres and different circuits and national circuits like Vallelunga and big wide open circuits like Silverstone. I think, now I don't normally say this, I'm normally quite against European riders coming in. Thank you. No Brexit jokes, please. But yes, we're against that kind of thing as well. We're quite normally against, not against, but sceptical about European riders coming over to Britain and...
Coming over here, taking our bloody bikes.
Bikes and rides and all that doodah. No, I just don't know how they're going to go. I always... Davide Giuliano syndrome, really. Scassa, Biocco. You've got loads of European riders. Sylvain Barrier right now. They just, for whatever reason, cannot get their head around our circuits. But having said that, Claudio Corti has done so much. And he's on a really good bike, a good team, and a stable team, quite a happy team, with ex-GP mechanics in there, with Jeff Crustamona. That's more the WD-40 side of things, but they're in the same setup. I genuinely think Claudio Corti could shock some people. Yes, he's coming in at Thruxton, difficult circuit to learn, scary circuit to learn as a first time. But I don't think it's going to be a disaster. I genuinely think the team's quite good. He's an immensely talented rider. Claudio Corti might just make this work. He may well just do very well indeed. Might shock us all. And back onto my point I said earlier, Thruxton throws up weird results. And if he has a good result, like a top 7 or top 8 or top 10 or even points in that class at the moment, it's very hard to come by. If he can get them, momentum builds. Confidence is instilled. He'll go to Cadwell Park, probably the hardest circuit to learn on the calendar as far as technical setup is concerned, and he will have a bit more belief.
Yeah, that'll be a shock for him, I bet.
And it will be a shock, but it'll also be a bit of, a bit of belief, a bit of I can do this. Not I'm going to another tricky circuit. So Claudio Corti may well just surprise a few people. There's only one other rider I can think of who would do that, and that's Kevin Manfredi, who does a lot of testing for a team in Stock 1000, and he's quick as well. Very quick lap times in National Super Stock 1000. He would be an exciting prospect if he came over to Britain full time. I think he finished 8th and 12th in an Italian Championship race, and he's got a broken leg. He broke it 2 or 3 weeks ago. So a couple of riders to look out for. Claudio Corti now he's here, but if he ever did come over, Kevin Manfredi might just be a bit of a star as well. Lots of exciting Italian news.
Okay. There you go. And anybody who's not British or currently racing in the UK, by the way, is more than welcome to do so. I don't know what Kiko was going on he's a bit of a rant from earlier, but I suppose it highlights just what a fantastic
hard championship.
Not just a championship, but a great sort of package of different championships. Really, what a I forgot the name for a paddock. Yes, maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean.
Synonyms on a postcard.
But yeah, along with the Stock 1000 and all the other things that go on, it just speaks a lot to the fact that a lot of high-profile names who aren't usually racing here in the UK want to come over and try it out. And it's sometimes, like when we see some MotoGP riders or World Superbike riders, who might be struggling in their championships, it's always talked about the case, well, will they come to BSB? As though that's an obvious place for them to come, instead of necessarily staying in Moto. I'm thinking of Scott Redding, of course. But yeah, he wouldn't be entirely out of place in BSB. Maybe he thinks he would, but anyway.
I don't know. Do you know what? I've had this conversation with people. We're going a bit off topic now. We are running a little bit late. We'll be all right. I don't think Scott Redding would do that well over in Britain. I honestly don't. I think he might get the showdown. I don't think he'd dominate like so many people are saying.
I don't know anyone who's saying he dominate. I don't.
No. A lot of people say, "Oh, he come out MotoGP and walk it," and that seems to be a bit of an attitude he's taken because he's saying BSB's too much of a step back. I don't know. I think BSB is a step across from World Superbikes. And World Superbikes is only one step back from MotoGP. I don't think Scott Redding would dominate at all. I think he'd be up there. He'd do a bit like what Yukio Kageyama's done when he came back to Superbikes and British Superbikes, and Noriyuki Haga when he came in. But I do not think that young Scott Redding would do the business in every way, shape, or form. Not straight away, anyway. I don't buy that argument.
Okay, well, if you
listening,
are, wrong. If you are one of the people who has that opinion, I've not particularly heard anyone who did ever say that, so I don't know where that's came from. But anyway, yeah, what was we talking about now? BSB.
You just mentioned Scott Redding. We've done BSB news, so let's go on to a review of Brands Hatch.
A review of Brands Hatch, yes, and Kiko, you were there. What went down? What happened that we don't already know about?
Well, there's a lot of riders went down, particularly at Hawthorns, but apart from that, Josh Brooks doing a double. What an incredible achievement. That has really set a reminder that he is still in this championship now. People were writing Brooksy off for the showdown after 2 or 3 rounds. Remember, he built into it last year. He built into that championship. He's only 3 points off the overall victory. And in 2015, he did the double at Brands Hatch GP. They were his first 2 wins. And look what's happened then. He went and smoked them on the field in that season. Just thought I'd drop that one in there for you. But in general, I genuinely think Josh Brooks, I don't know about... It's too early to say for the championship because it is. We've got to see who gets to the showdown with what points. But he is way up for it now. He's got 2 wins to his name, coming off the back of a really good round. Won at Thruxton last year. Should have probably done the double, most people will argue. He's on it. I'm telling you, Josh Brooks could well be the surprise here.
Well, that's an interesting thought.
Moving on,
about. Yes.
Looking back at Brands Hatch, Kawasaki suffered some late race fade in race 2. Danny Buchan was dropping back, got caught by Tommy Bridewell. Jake Dixon and Leon Haslam were both lapping about a second lap slower than your 2 leaders, that were Josh Brooks and Glenn Irwin. Struggling times for Kawasaki at the moment, but nothing too serious to worry about. I don't think their record is rather steady at Thruxton. Jake Dixon went very, very well there last year, so expect Dixon to be right in the mix. Tommy Bridewell has made an incredible impression on that Motorapido Ducati. No one could have imagined that he would have gone from, I think, 24th to 12th on the grid, or the back of the grid to 12th in race 1, and he got up to 7th in race 2. Fantastic stuff from Tommy Bridewell. So the young Wiltshireman probably is what we could say is his home round, this round coming up. Great showing. Expect some good stuff from him. Chrissy Rouse, Tommy Bridewell's replacement, the MoveUno.com household racing team, also had a double point to finish, 11th and 14th. That is by far a fantastic result, I must say. So massive hats off to the Bolton-based team. Glenn Irwin's riding very, very well. We said on the show a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, that he's really slotted well into that number 1 position now in that team. He's riding incredibly well. Just needs a couple of wins down. He'll be right in the mix for the championship.
Well, he always was good, wasn't he?
He always was good, but as is any rider whose teammate was Shane Byrne, they are always overshadowed.
Yeah.
But now Shaky is not part of that team for now, and Glenn Irwin's taken over a number 1 position.
He seems has been a natural number 1 for.
He is. He's and
year.
Of course he's got his brother in the team as well. So that isn't automatically, I think, a more of a I'll show you how to do this kind of thing, and it's working. Andrew Irwin's having a phenomenal year, really, with Paul Bird, considering that he had no testing time on the bike prior to the season. He's come off a 600 World Supersport, which is an entirely different bike to what that Paul Bird Motorsport Ducati is. Must remember, of course, that is the championship winning bike that Andrew Irwin is sporting at the moment, with the number 18 on the front. It is Shane Byrne's bike, and it is the championship winning bike, but he's still got to ride it well, and he is riding it well. Another nightmare weekend, on the other hand, for James Ellison. Problems in race 1, and a steady result in race 2. I think he was 9th. He really, we're going to talk on Thruxton a bit more later on, he's got to. In an ideal world, he's got to do the double this weekend. I have got to say, James Ellison has definitely got to get a couple of podiums because, again, crunch time in the championship, he's further back at this point than what he was at last year, and he didn't make the showdown last year. Got to admit, it's a little bit a little bit easier, I think, this year. The top 6 is a little bit inconsistent at the moment. There's no one really 4th, 5th, and 6th. The top 3 are quite steady away. So, yeah, James Ellison, hard times for him, I think that's fair to say. And Taron McKenzie, starting to look the real deal on another Yamaha, McCam's Yamaha, who at this round, the Superbike show after Thruxton that we covered, we're coming up to our year anniversary here, Lester.
Are we?
Yes, we are. Because I remember going on the McCam's Yamaha rant, and a lot of people not very happy about it.
Oh, yeah, and then they went and won.
And they went and won. However, no such issues for them this year. They are having a phenomenal season. Josh Brooks in the showdown. Taron McKenzie riding exceptionally well of late, especially at Brands Hatch. Watch out for him at Thruxton. And I said it twice already, and I'll say it again. Thruxton throws up some really strange results. I'm not saying Taron McKenzie podium would be a strange result, but it wouldn't have been my first choice of having him on the podium. That hard year he had in GP last year on an average machine on the Suter that Stefan Kiefer ran, it's taught him a lot, and he's riding very, very well. Got to give it to him.
That is interesting that you keep poking the possibility about Thruxton throwing up some strange results. That's a nice mug that you seem to be holding there. I can see Kiko holding a mug. It's got his name on it, and it says the Motorsport Awards. Nice little plug for our Motorsport Awards there. Our non-visual radio viewers won't know what the hell I'm talking about. Yes, Kiko.
Just need that bit on. That's all you need on that.
Yes, Motorsport Awards is a thing that will happen on the 9th of December, awarding people in motorsport, businesses and riders and drivers alike. Tune in for that. More details, head over to motorsportawards.com for details on how you can get involved as well.
Have we actually got the categories yet?
Yes, we've got all the categories, yes.
All of them? Can we add any?
I would rather not, because it's all done and sealed, and it took many months to decide and boil it down from like 1,000 different possible categories down to the ones that we've actually got, and they're all going to be bespoke awards as well. So anybody who wins a Motorsport Award is going to get not just a little tin pot trophy, they're going to get a lovely, beautiful thing that you will be proud to put on your motorpiece.
Do we have a website for this?
Yeah, motorsportawards.com.
Okay, let's have a little look. I'll check it out,
yes,
Lester.
Yeah, that's
just talk to us about.
We're doing that sort of thing whereby we're like pretending that we don't know because we've never been on the thing. Although Kiko knows because he's.
Anyway. Well, I haven't.
Anyway, moving
Lester,
on.
Whilst I search, just I'm going to put the question to you: can Josh Brooks still win this championship?
No. Sorry.
Why?
John. Well, although, I could probably name like 15 riders who might do the business, especially this weekend at Thruxton. On balance, I'm going to say no. Nothing against Josh Brooks at all whatsoever. Don't attack me. But I don't see it happening, to be perfectly honest. I would love to be proven wrong, though, so I will, if I am wrong at that, if somebody reminds me at the end of the season, I will hold my hands up and I will apologise live on air, but I'm usually not wrong. Ugh.
I'll just tease everyone with the Motorsport Awards. Sports person, so we do it by categories. Sports person, you can have like driver of the year, rider of the year, star of the future as a driver or rider, best battle in a race. For clubs and championships, best championship, best club series, racing club of the year, that kind of thing. Media/marketing, best commentator, story or journalist or TV production company. And you got best new road car, best new road bike, best engineering, best investment. And then an Unsung Hero Awards, Lifetime Achievement Awards, Spirit of the Sport Awards. There is loads to come. That is on Sunday, the 9th of December, 2018. Now, I might not even be here for that, which is a difficult
Why? Where will you be, Kiko?
I may well be in Germany. I've not decided yet what's happening, but a friend of mine is having her birthday on that date. We may well be away, but I will be listening and tuning in.
No, you won't.
I will. I will put away all of my beer problems, of which there will be many because I would have not had enough, and I will tune in live and give you the international audience enhancement, because we have an international audience now.
Yes, we certainly do, and I know Kiko is devastated to not be front and centre on the Motorsport Awards. He's not even eligible for a Commentator of the Year award.
Funny.
So he's really not. No,
I'm not. No, I'm
neither
not.
am I. I'm not eligible as anything, to be honest. Just having the Motorsport Awards is
Greyest Hair of the Year award.
And we've just lost Kiko there, I'm afraid, unfortunately. Anyway, right, moving on.
Best Steps Fan of the Year.
Well, that obviously goes to you, Kiko.
Not quite.
Moving on, anyway. Right. This is the Superbike Show. I promise. This is Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. Kiko is here with us. And we are currently going through and talking about everything that happened and that might happen in BSB, MotoGP, coming shortly. And World Superbike news and debates. And we're also keeping an eye on comments that flooded in as well, if there have been any. Have there been any?
Yes, it's very thin on the ground, so everyone must be watching the pledge over on Sky News, because there's very little out there in way of traffic. Lots of people tuning in, and unfortunately not a lot of people sending us their thoughts and opinions. We didn't put a big question out there at the start, maybe that's why. Our big question is, where will Tom Sykes go in World Superbikes? Can't believe the World Superbikes is a headlining question, but it is, and it's 9 weeks off. Where's Tom Sykes going to go? Who's he going to ride for? Etc. Who's his teammate going to be? Some say Red Bull, Honda, some say British Superbikes. Let us know what you think, for those of you that are still with us.
Yeah, it's at M Sport Radio on the Twitter. On the Facebook, it's just Motorsport Radio. Or you can leave your comments in the comments box below, wherever you tuned in right now. This is live broadcast at the moment all over the internet. If you are one of the people, I know there are some who listen to our show, not visually, but just normally, in the older ear phones, by downloading it on one of their podcast providers. Then a special shout out to you. Well done. You're you know. You know.
Hardcore.
Exactly. All right, so moving on slightly then from BSB to some of the supports classes then, and what happened in, should we start with Supersport? What happened at Brands?
Well, Ben Curry and David Allingham were the winners. Ben Curry, I think it was a machine failure on the penultimate lap of race 2. That should have been a win in the bag. I do not know what happened. Ben Curry being robbed of victory made the championship very interesting as we head to Thruxton. Jack Kennedy is still injured, of course. It'll be interesting to see whether he can recover in time for Thruxton. Of course, we will bring you all of that here on Motorsport Radio when we get it. But yeah, David Allingham, first Supersport win for him. He's reverted back to the old R6 as well, the old R6 Yamaha, not the new one he started the season on. And Craig Fitzpatrick was working with him over the weekend as well, so he knows his stuff about R6 Yamahas. On to the GP2 stuff. Kyle Ryde doing the double for Hucknall, of course, just down the road from Wands Mansfield Woodhouse Palace. And yes, Kyle Ryde doing Nottinghamshire proud, double win on the GP2 bike. That has really revitalised his career in some aspects. More top tens from Everquip Racing. Bjorn Esmond's having a very, very good stint in this season. I've got to say, riding the best I've seen him ride for a long time. James Spoley also doing very well. So the team from Hornsey up in the northeast doing brilliantly. Massive well done, I've got to say, to Sam Wilford. First podium after some horrendous injuries he suffered last year, both at Alton Park. So keep your eyes out for the IDWE Racing Yamaha, I think that's how we say it, or IDW, I'm not sure. You can keep your eyes out for him for the rest of the year. Sam Wilford, wouldn't put it past him getting another few podiums before this season's out. I'm watching him at Thruxton, so I'm going to say it against me catch race tonight. Thruxton can throw up some pretty strange results.
So, I suppose after your pretty strange results in almost every category then, the Supersport standings, will it perhaps just be a two-horse race?
I think deep down, yes, I do. The gap that the likes of David Allingham, Ross Twyman, James Espoli and James Westmoreland are relying on to come down is a sizable gap. We're talking I think over 100 points now. I'm not sure, but it's a big gap, and really, that's a lot of bad luck. Let's go the way of Jack Kennedy and Ben Curry. I mean, it can happen. It's motorsport. Anything can happen, but realistically, I do still think it's a two-horse race. It's going to be a great race for third, though.
I'm sure it will, and anything can happen at Thruxton. Don't forget.
Yes,
that will throw open some surprises.
Do you know what? Sure. I cannot wait until next week when we have the strangest Thruxton podium ever in all the classes, and there's be a compilation of me saying anything can happen at Thruxton. Or I cannot wait for that moment.
It might just be the strange bit about it is that it just might be an almost exact replica of Brands.
Strangely enough, I wouldn't go too far past that at the moment, I must say. Gleno and Josh Brooks riding very, very well.
Okay.
Stock 1000.
Yes.
We're not going to talk rider changes now. Unbelievable. We're actually going to talk.
Was there any racing?
There was. There actually was. And Keith Farmer continues to lead the championship, even though he lost the lead of the championship after Saturday's double race, the back-to-back race, to Joe Collier. But Joe Collier crashed out on Sunday, and Keith Farmer went and took the lead back in the championship. Tom Neve's been a revelation. He had a couple of big crashes as well. You would have seen the Eurosport video of him throwing his bike at a 20-foot fence, 30-foot fence, and whatnot. And then he crashed out of the lead on the first lap at Brands Hatch in the third race on the Sunday. But I've got to say, and I don't know if he's listening, I don't know if his dad's listening or anyone, but it was a pleasure to see Tom Ward riding the best I've seen him ride all year on that Mavuno.com House Racing Suzuki. We know that bike's good. We know he's a quality rider, and you waited for that moment he'd click and get it, and he has got it now. Tom Ward, fantastic ride, running as high as 5th, I believe, finished 7th overall. So that was my ride of the weekend. I've got to say, Tom Ward, 7th place in race 3 at Brands Hatch in the National Superstock 1000. Fantastic result. And nobody at the front, I must say, seems to want to win this championship. Billy McConnell crashing, Tom Neve crashing, Andy Reid not starting, Chrissy Rouse departing. We had Keith Farmer crashing, Joe Collier obviously crashing, lots of big names crashing, Luke Jones crashing. I know he's not really in the championship hunt, but still in with a shout of race wins, crashed out of 3rd and crashed out of 6th. It's been one of them years, really, when no one's really pulling away. We thought Billy McConnell had it, then he's dropped back. We think Keith Farmer's had it, then he drops it. Andy Reid, we think he's going to be the consistent one, and he kept crashing. So no one seems like they're pulling away. Most open stock 1000 class for some years.
I bet the riders who left or quit first very early on. It seems like a bloody age ago now. It seems like I bet they'll be feeling really, really stupid now because they could have just been in it just by way of staying on, I suppose.
Literally, I think there was. I know we're going to go off domestic championships now. World Superbikes in 2013. I think if you finished 8th in every race, you would have won the championship. That is a mad statistic. I'm fairly sure, I'm going to do the calculation just to double check, but if you finished 8th in every race, you would have won the championship. That was the level of inconsistency that year.
Yeah. And
so sometimes top 3s, top 4s, top 5s alone win you the championship. 2003, Valentino Rossi won the championship, but he wasn't unbeatable. He was beaten in quite a lot of races and in last lap battles. Sergei Gibernau, normally the one dishing it out. But Rossi was on the podium in every single race. And he won the championship. Had he been on the podium in every single race in 2015, he would have won the championship.
Well, I suppose to win it, you've got to be in it,
Exactly.
not necessarily on the top step of the podium in the next race. But who, Kiko, will be the rider to get their first podium or next win in Stock 1000 just before they inevitably depart the team?
It's a good question. Take away the last sentence that you added on to the end of that. That's
Well,
not
it's bound to
scripted
happen.
on
I mean,
our
that
plan.
seems to be the trend, doesn't it?
I think that for the first podium, there's quite a few riders. Luke Jones, I think that's coming sooner rather than later for the Murillo Kawasaki team. Tom Ward, I tell you, riding well, rode well more or less all season, but he just struggled to get the bike set up properly. Arm pumps have also been an issue, but Brands Hatch really clicked for him. And when they go back there at the end of the season for round 12, expect Tom to be in the mix for a podium, I think. Lee Jackson's had a podium, but I think he could be a race winner. I think he won at Thruxton in 2014 for Bill Base BMW. Not looked that up. I'm just guessing. So there's quite a few names that could do it.
Who will do it then? Come on, name one.
Luke Jones. Luke Jones will win.
Okay.
One race before the end of the season.
What about Thruxton, though?
Oh, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, anybody could win it.
It is.
Half of the grid won't even be on the grid by the end of the season.
I don't know. I just do not know at the moment who I'd say.
Anyway, okay, I'll let you off. I won't.
Thank you.
I won't push you for that. Anyway, so moving on then. Stock 1000, we'll put that to bed for now anyway, and return to that when we get news of like half the grid upping sticks, and it's like musical chairs. It really is. Unfortunately, it's becoming a talking point for its off-track shenanigans, and that's not what we want. But
no.
you know, that's unfortunately what it is at the moment. Temporary, we hope. Anyway,
so just to update people, sorry, I'll just interrupt myself and you then.
Excuse me while I interrupt myself.
With wrong information. Hang on a minute. Rider by 28. Yeah. So basically, it was 8 points in each race for World Superbikes in 2013 would have got you the championship.
I know, sure, that's what you just said.
Oh, I said I'd confirm it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well researched. Anyway, I suppose. So this is the Superbike Show. If you've just tuned in, my name is Lester. This is Kiko, and we are live right now on a Thursday. And we do this show live all over the internet. We stream it in visual radio quality as well as audio as well, and simulcast it, and it's available to download and listen to immediately as a podcast. Remember those kids? Yes, and also as well, it's available to listen back on our 24/7 radio stream that we have as well, which is mixed in with loads of classic interviews with loads of big name riders as well, and not just riders, because we also do stuff about cars as well here on this there motorsport.radio. Some people, I'm told, like other things.
Unbelievable.
That's okay. Kiko likes steps. He also likes Kim Wilde. Nice variety there. Nice
Not
variety.
steps. So we're listening to the guy who yesterday said he'd go off air. We do have these lengthy off air conversations.
That's what I love most about off air conversations.
They don't go public. But he did say that he'd go to a
Bon Jovi. That's right. Bon Jovi.
Sorry, I say concert because he said concert. I say gig. One Direction concert. Lester Forbes.
I didn't quite say that. You were going through...
You are lying through your...
Anyway, we'll move on and talk about some MotoGP, because Kiko's clearly lost all sanity. And, so Marquez, it's the Czech Grand Prix this weekend at Brno. And, yes, they're back again. And, Marquez, he is, isn't he? He's going to...
What? He's going to what?
Well, he's going to... he's going to... tell you what, he's not going to win this one. He's going to be on the podium. There you go.
Right, well, he hasn't... Yeah, look, he's already regretted saying that.
I said it. There you go. I'm sticking by it.
In the moon, she'd last next week when he's wrong. I don't know. Marc Marquez took his first win at Brno in the MotoGP class last year.
Don't matter, does it?
No, because all the years before, he hasn't been the winner. So, what does that tell you about him? Maybe he's not a fan of the Brno circuit. We've seen it before. It's. I think it'll be there. I just do not think it's going to be the dominant Marc Marquez. I actually think that the rider with a bit of a chance, maybe Valentino Rossi. I'm not saying that because I'm a fan of him. I am a fan of him. But he's looking...
Oh, he's such a fanboy.
He's not been outside the top 5 since Cota, Valentino Rossi. Podiums in all but 2 of them races. So, 3 of them, because if you include Cota. But since Cota... a podium in all but 2 of them races, Jerez and Assen. I tell you, keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on the doctor. He's doing what we've just said. Sometimes consistency. If Marc Marquez starts throwing bites at fences, like he has done before, and Valentino Rossi can keep in that 2nd and 3rd range, maybe nick a win here and there, he's in the championship running. He still is. Ducati haven't won at Brno since 2007, 11 long years ago. Casey Stoner it was that day. Andrea Dovizioso and Jorge Lorenzo, I don't really know which one I'd have more at the moment to take a win. Jorge Lorenzo at Brno suits his style, but Andrea Dovizioso looking to become the first Italian rider on a Ducati to win at Brno since Loris Capirossi, 2006. Alvaro Bautista, I'm going to start his fan club again, for looking on course for his first back-to-back top 5 since Motegi and Valencia at the Ricardo Tormo circuit in 2013, almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. So Alvaro Bautista, form of his life. Last time he took this many top 10s was when he got 12 on the bounce in 2013 riding for the Gresini Honda team. So keep an eye out for the number 19 Aspar bike. We know he likes Renault. He's won there before in 2006 on the 125cc machine. So, yes, he is absolutely in with a chance. Cal Crutchlow, Britain's Cal, looking to calculate another fantastic story for us Brits here. Us Brits have this love affair with the Czech Republic anyway. We love spewing up in their streets and taking our stag parties.
Just speak for yourself.
Over to Prague and
That's
Brno.
not what I think of when I think of the Czech Republic. It's spewing up kebabs all over the place. That's no. But
Cal Crutchlow continuing to love Brno. Let's hope he can do the business again this year. I think he can. I might just have a little outside bet. Suzuki, last couple of bits on MotoGP still to come. Suzuki haven't won at Brno since 1989. Let us know who the rider was that day. I know who. KTM, best result at the circuit was 9th last year with Paul Espargaro, whilst his brother Aleix took Aprilia to their first top 10 at the circuit in 8th. Anything is possible at Brno, it seems, and the weather is forecast to be dry. So, level playing field. No one should be walking off with this. I don't know who's going to win it. I'm going to have a cheeky punt on Valentino Rossi. Hasn't won there since 2009. Off the back of a 2nd place at the Saxon Ring, he will want to go one better, and especially if it means closing down on arch rival and nemesis Marc Marquez, who heads this championship by 46 points. All numbers are adding up.
Exactly. Well, that answers my question. I was going to ask you who might win this weekend, but you've already told me, and I already told you who I thought as well. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Who did you say?
Oh, I didn't I? I said who wouldn't win.
Well, that's easy.
All right, chill out. Yeah,
exactly. Simeon's not going to win.
But you can actually have a bet against a particular rider, though.
Come on, who's going to win?
I'm not going to say who's going to win. I'm going to have a bet against Marquez winning.
Predictions.
That's my prediction.
No. Who is it going to be? Who's going to be the podium then?
Well, it'll be Marquez on the podium, but he won't win.
Who else is going to be on the podium winning?
I don't know.
Yes.
What am I prediction man?
Yes. No. Since you started a predictions league.
That's different.
Come on.
No. Anyway, to be honest, I don't even know who's going to win. Let's just say the best man.
Really? Nobody knows who's going to win.
Yeah, that. But did win quite a bit of money against England. I bet against England to win the World Cup, and I bet against England to win their last game, and I won a lot of money, actually.
£210, was it?
It was something like that. It's a lot of money to me. I don't care. So yeah, you can actually have a bet against an outcome.
We can.
And I bet that Marquez won't win the Grand Prix.
Well, you're a wally then. Moto2 news quickly, because we've got to stay on schedule. Brad Binder looking to make Brno his own, coming off the back of his first win last time out at the Sachsenring for the Red Bull KTM team. Don't bet against the South African just yet. Francesco Bagnaia, Matteo Pessini, Lorenzo Baldassari all need good results this weekend. That is no word of a lie. They absolutely have to deliver, because they are being reeled in by Miguel Oliveira, who is still hunting down the opposition. He goes well at Brno 2. Luca Marini and Joan Mir could well be winners. They had brilliant races at the Sachsenring, both on the podium for the German Grand Prix. Luca Marini's first podium in Grand Prix racing. So, and Italians, I must say, have a bit of a love affair with Italy. I'll come on to that in a bit.
Really?
Sam Lowes, I was going to say Alex Lowes then. Sam Lowes is quick at Brno 2, flying the British flag, of course. Danny Kent doing the same, but maybe not as high up as we'd like him to. Marcel Schotter, Alex Marquez, and maybe a young Frenchman by the name of a certain F. Quartararo could all well be spoilers. That's Moto 2 for you. And of course, there's lots of other names too.
Exactly, yes. Quarter of an hour, and they're being mentioned. But what do we think about potentially Bagnaia? Could he be... Is he on the ropes, do you think?
Not through any fault of his own.
So he is?
Yes, but it's not because he's been riding subpar. It's because he's been caught up in a couple of unlucky incidents. First being, trying to think back now. Oh, Catalonia. I don't think he was caught up in anything. I just think it was a bad weekend. But Sachsenring caught up out in second place at the time. Pessini taking him out to the gravel for a little wonder, and I think Bagnaia got back to 12th place. But the problem is Miguel Oliveira was 4th, and that is, 13 points back to 12th, which is 9 points difference. That happens every race. Bagnaia will start feeling the pressure. I'm absolutely sure of that.
Let us know what you think, anyway. If you disagree with what Kiko said, or if you think that we're asking totally the wrong questions, and maybe you've got your own questions, something more succinct and to the point, and if there's something that you think we have missed, let us know. It's at M Sport Radio on the Twitter. It's Motorsport Radio on Facebook, or leave your comment in the comments box wherever you're consuming our show. As Kiko looks for his Moto 3 standings. Can hear him
not
shuffling
at all.
about.
I'm actually looking for a little stat.
Probably.
I did. Oh, listen to it. I cannot believe you've just said that.
Anyway,
Wow.
Moto 3, and anyway, moving on, because we've got other stuff to talk about. Moto 3 then, and what tell us more.
What? We got a problem there.
What's going to happen in Moto 3? Go.
Thank you. Anyone could win. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Well, we know that.
Only if Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi don't clear off at the front. John McPhee goes very well at Brno. Him and Canet, Aaron Canet, the Spaniard, both possible winners, I feel. Lots and lots of winners at Brno. It really is the best race of the year.
So many winners.
On par with Mugello. Jorge Kornfeil. Jakob Kornfeil is flying the Czech flag, so keep your eye on him. He is going to be looking for home glory, whether that's a podium or maybe even a race win. Who knows? But Jakob Kornfeil looking to check in to Brno.
Anyway, so this is the Superbike Show. It's Motorsport Radio. Hello and welcome. If this is your first ever instance of tuning in to the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio, you're more than welcome to share the link. Let everybody on your friends list know that there's a fantastic place to consume free stuff. Basically, this is a regular thing that we do on a Thursday. We also have other shows talking about other types of different motorsport as well. And also, Kiko, we also have the website, motorsport.radio.
Yes, and what can you find on there right now? Well, there's a very nice World Superbike article that me and Dee was working on last night, Lester. Yeah, basically
five ridiculous ways to improve World Superbikes.
5 amazingly technically great ways to improve.
Including a singing elephant on the pits.
Not a singing elephant, an elephant that takes people for a ride around the Chang International Circuit in
on a bike.
Thailand. No, it doesn't ride, it walks round.
Oh, right.
Lester, please, stop ruining it. We have the, I think the first one is scheduling. You've got to change that schedule. It is horrendous. Fourth one is tracks need to come and go. We need to get rid of the sail, sack it off. Only camels attend. Get rid of it. Replace it with Kyle Army.
Elephants.
Third one is make it an actual experience. Get loads of things in pit lane. Make it a real hive of activity. Number 2 is
get them prices down.
Yes, correct. We don't want to be charging 50 Brexits for a one-day admission. Number 2 is to characterise riders, heroes and villains. Through the 90s, that's all World Superbike was, fallouts and media hype. And number 1, wildcards. We want to see some MotoGP riders, big-name MotoGP riders, heading off to World Superbikes for a little bit of fun. Let us know your thoughts. Read it, share it all around, and it's going to be entertaining, I think, once we get there.
Yeah, certainly check it out. Motorsport.radio is the website. If you've never seen it before, check it out. It is just simply motorsport.radio. That's it.
There will be a MotoGP preview going up tomorrow as well.
Are we having Hugh and Bingo as well?
We are going to be having Hugh and Bingo.
What's Hugh and Bingo?
It's Keith Hugh and Bingo. So if you play along, if you've got BT Sport MotoGP, of course, if you're in Britain, you will have. If not, stream it online illegally. And we will we'll get a card out roughly around 9 o'clock on my Twitter, probably about the same on Motorsport Radio, at M Sport Radio. And we will get all the things that Keith Ewan will say in the race, and no doubt he will. Sometimes he references it, sometimes he doesn't, but play along, it's great fun. And some people have said it makes him bearable, which I think is a little bit harsh.
Oh, and he is actually knowledgeable. He plays along, doesn't he, to his own bingo game. And anyway, so Hugh and Bingo.
That's when you know you've made it.
Exactly. Hugh and Bingo on the site just before the racing on the Sunday. This is Motorsport Radio, and this is the Superbike Show.
Motorsport Radio.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Ray from the Kawasaki Racing Team.
Hi, this is Nick Hamilton.
Hi, I'm Jamie Chadwick.
Hey everyone, I'm Bradley Smith.
Hi, I'm Julian Zacco.
Hi, I'm Bradley Wright.
Hi, I'm Seb Morris.
Hi, I'm Dan Linfoot from Honda Racing, British Superbike team, and this is Motorsport Radio.
It is, yes. And now we move on to talk from MotoGP to the most obvious place that you could ever think about, to Red Lodge and the road to MotoGP. The championship is Cool Fab Racing. Yes, they are on the road to MotoGP, and these young riders are stars of the future today. In fact, many of them are already riding in the British Talent Cup, and the selection for 2019 has just come out. And again, many of the Cool Fab Racing riders have been selected for the British Talent Cup, and some already racing and riding on the BSB support bill in various categories as well. Well, they had their 5th round at Red Lodge last week. Kiko Giles and our other commentator Dan Marr were there too at the end of the weekend, while they were a bit sleepy because they'd just had like 9 hours of screaming and shouting into microphones. They were able to succinctly wrap up and give us all the latest news and updates as to what happened at Red Lodge.
Of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championship. The second half of the season started in style at Red Lodge Circuit, a very popular venue, and lots of locals coming to attend the racing, not just in spectating but also joining the field. And whilst the nation was gripped with Furnace Friday and every kind of thunderstorm and rain show in town, we just got on with it. We went racing. It was hard, it was close, it was fast. Really was very stylish racing, Kiko Giles. I'm Dan Marr, obviously just mentioned my colleague here who's been joining me for the 2018 season in the commentary booth. It's been fantastic to really see the development and understand the development of many of the riders out there this weekend, and we had some real shockers in the Mini GP 70 category to begin with. Casey O'Gorman challenged in all three races by Evan Belford, in fact losing the lead in all three races, an unprecedented move in 2018, and that was just the start of a mega weekend, Kiko.
It was. The Mini GP 70s will start there. Casey O'Gorman in the last race we've just had, race 3 of the weekend. It was touch and go whether he was going to win that. I honestly thought he was going to see Evan Belford come good and take his first win in that class, but it wasn't to be. Casey O'Gorman just sandbagging a bit towards the end, pulled it out the bag, did a grand job in doing so. Lots of other riders to mention in that class. Owen Mellor's been particularly impressive as well, and Elliot Crosby's come really good as well. Rossi Banham in the mix, Finn Smart too. Loads of different riders in the Mini GP 70s. There's a bit of a smaller grid this week because of injuries. Saffron Motley, we hope she gets well soon. But all in all, you only need 2 or 3 riders to have a great race, and we had brilliant races all the way through race 1, 2 and 3 in the Mini GP 70s.
Saf Watley, as mentioned, had a great race in race 1, taking 6th place after a fantastic battle with the likes of Finn Smart aboard the number 14 machine. Really gave it a good go over the course of the weekend, and Casey O'Gorman certainly challenged, very, very different for him, and in situations he recovered it on the last lap of the last race here at Red Lodge, really showing what a great rider he is. Destined for good things, of course, part of the official Road to MotoGP and on the partner series to the BSB. Plenty of different affiliations for this championship. We see that not only in the Mini GP 70s but also in the Mini GP 50s, where we have more of the same, with Casey O'Gorman really being challenged by Belford. And Eddie O'Shea, someone who isn't called Casey O'Gorman, won a Mini GP 50 race. Let's just sort of take that in for a second.
Unbelievable. I think it had been a great weekend from Eddie O'Shea. Qualified 5th. Looked good all the way through on Saturday. Then in the difficult conditions we had out there in race 2, race 1 of Sunday, he won. You know, Casey O'Gorman slipped off, total disaster. But Eddie O'Shea showed his wet weather prowess, won by over 10 seconds, fantastic performance. And then he did the same almost in the 3rd race of the weekend, the 2nd race of Sunday. He's come good. He really has come good. And he made the step up to this class after watching him last year in the AC40s. He has definitely matured as he's got on with it. If next season, if he stays with the Mini GP 50s, I have no doubt he will be a championship contender. And I don't think it'll be too much of an ask to see him win again before the end of the season. A brilliant weekend from Eddie O'Shea.
Eddie O'Shea, great weekend. Everyone in the Mini GP categories had a great weekend. The AC40 rookies certainly had a varied weekend. We had a few new faces to the championship, which is good to talk about, and hopefully we see a few of them continuing on in the next real month of Cool Fab action. 3 rounds in a matter of 6 weeks. Very busy, but great to see so many different rounds and everyone getting involved in the summer break. Of course, all the schools are out, so we can all have a bit of fun going racing. There was 2 days of testing and trialling before we got into the race meeting for the likes of the AC40 rookies, and the championship really got turned on its head. The first 4 rounds had really been a story of the likes. Well, Henry McCartney was the championship leader coming into it. Samuel Munson in 2nd place as well, very close. We had Warwick Brady, Ruben Bray also getting involved in there, but at the moment that's all been turned around. There's been different victors, there's been different people scoring great points. Henry McCartney had a few tumbles, so did Samuel Munson. It all really did get changed very dramatically here at Red Lodge.
Henry McCartney too busy jump-starting races, but apart from that, good weekend, solid weekend. Proved that he's definitely a championship contender. We knew that anyway coming in here. Story of the weekend's got to be Finn Werrity's win. You know, I made the joke in the commentary, where did he come from? It's literally not come out of nowhere, but it's
been a kind of, there's been 4 of them: Ruben Bray, Samuel Munson, Henry McCartney and Ollie Horner, maybe a bit of Warwick Brady, so make that 5. But no one's really been doing their lap times, no one's really been able to keep them in the race. And today it just shows that weather can really level things out. The wet weather was not nice out there today, and riders made mistakes. It happens. Ruben Bray was leading that race until a lap and a corner to go, crashed at the last corner. Been and where he stayed in the race, kept it upright. You got to be in it to win it, and he did win it. Brilliant result from him, and his brother Max got a 6th place as well, so fantastic stuff for that family.
They've had a few difficult rounds up until this point, but hopefully this is the turning point where they can start to score some real good championship points, moving them into that contention spot. Not only was it the AC40 rookies giving it a good go, the AC40 pros getting well and truly involved with the 2nd closest finish in Cool Fab racing history. 0.02 of a second was the gap between Johnny Garnes and Mason Foster over the line in race 1. They've been a bit spread out in the championship at times, but this weekend they got really close. Too close for comfort for them, but still great racing for us to commentate on and for you guys to listen to and watch at home. But that was race 1. Races 2 and 3 again was turned on its head. We had different people getting involved. Mason Foster maybe struggling a bit, but so did our other championship contender Johnny Garnes, but came through, got some good results for them. It's a good weekend for them, but still other people starting to catch up, really catching on to the rhythms, and the likes of Troy Jeffrey really did get involved in some good results for Troy this weekend, definitely.
Johnny Garnes, great load of races for him, 2 wins, and his main championship rival Mason Foster, having closed him down yesterday, ended up coming away from Red Lodge much further behind him in the championship. So we've got 9 races left to go, round 6, 7 and 8. 3 rounds at each, 9 races to go. It's still a doable gap. Mason Foster can win every race. Johnny Garnes can come second. Mason Foster would win the title. However, I feel a bit sorry for Mason Foster today. He got taken out in race 1 race 2 today by Sullivan Mounsey, which was a bit of an unfortunate incident. The track conditions were just horrendous, and then he got kind of pushed back a little bit in race 3, so he wasn't able to contend for the win, but he did manage the 2nd place as well. So difficult weekend for Mason, but chin up and he'll be there, I'm sure, come Glenny Gores, because Johnny Garnes could have some bad luck. He had some bad luck towards the end of last year, so anything's possible.
And Johnny Garnes not just shining in the pros, but also in the LC40 Elites. That was a whole new level of Johnny Garnes performance on the slightly more powerful bikes, and in the very warm condition, the LC40 is proving to be much quicker this weekend. Even in the rain, they had that little edge on performance, but nonetheless a great set of races in the LC40 Elites. We don't expect anything different, but it really did happen to be a much bigger difference than we were expecting.
Case O'Gorman, not dominant force in there. Evan Belford stepping back into the class this weekend, taking a win straight off the bat in race 2. So Case O'Gorman obviously closed down the championship lead to 2-0 coming into today's races. Leaves it with the championship lead, I believe, so not all bad at all. He's not dominating like he is the Mini GP50s and the Mini GP70s, so Case O'Gorman definitely got work to do in the LC40 Elites. Everyone else, though, has obviously got work to keep up with him because he's now the new championship leader. The thing that we've got now is Evan Belford. Will he stick around? Because if he does, it's another name interfering in a way in the championship. He's not in the championship really for the championship win now. He's coming a bit late. However, he is quick, and we know he's going to be quick. So how does Casey O'Gorman handle that? If race 2 is anything to go by, it won't be very well, because Casey O'Gorman didn't win that race because he slipped off under pressure. And it's all about staying upright, and unfortunately Casey O'Gorman didn't do that. Bailey Stewart Campbell didn't do that either. Massive opportunity for Bailey Stewart Campbell to take advantage in the championship and rebuild the lead that he had all the way from round 1 to now. So going into Glenny Gores, that is probably one of the biggest championships we've got to keep an eye on, in the juniors anyway, with the LC40 Elites as well as the AC40 Pros and AC40 Rookies. They are the 3 I'm keeping my eyes on for sure.
Well, we keep our eyes on all of the championships here at Cool Fab. And one we certainly couldn't take our eyes away from was the Senior Mini Motos. Race number 2, which was one of the first races on Sunday morning in horrendous conditions. Nobody wanted to win it. Pretty much all of the entrants over the category had fallen off, had some kind of low side over the course of the race. And bearing in mind the race is only 9 laps long, there's not a lot of time to crash, and they all did a fair amount of it. But nonetheless, slightly smaller entry than we're used to. For example, no Marco Pandolfo, but that didn't reduce the quality of the racing.
Not at all. We had a great race too with them, as you said, loads of crashes, really hard to predict. No one wanted to win it. Will Harris was crashing. We had Richard James Williams crashing multiple times. Ryan Grant crashed twice on the first lap. He's the championship leader, still came back for third, mind you. So not too bad at all. And then you've got to look at the likes of, in that class, the ones that probably you wouldn't have considered to be right up there. Justin Bainbridge looking to get his first podium, so nearly did it. And Chris Yeoman's fantastic ride to 4. So adults summed up really well there. I think that's a great class, great race there. Very, very different. Weather was a massive influence.
It was a massive influence all weekend. Indeed, all of the categories were affected by it. The Pit Bike 140 and Moto teams, surprisingly, were the cleanest ones out there. They had some really good scrapping in all 3 races. The Extreme 200s had their qualities, had some fantastic racing. Gareth Roberts and Alex Vella really getting stuck in over the course of the weekend. The Mini F1 sidecars too, really having some brilliant racing. Mick Williams almost didn't win a race. Almost. If you want to find out what happened in all of the races this weekend and listen to how shocked we were at that Mini F1 sidecar race, the third one of the weekend, go over to the Cool Fab Racing website, where you can catch up on all of the commentary from round 5 of the 2018 season, and in fact the whole of the 2018 season to date. We'll be back at Glanigors in North Wales in just 2 weekends' time. If you're local to the area, come down, have a watch. It's free to spectate. Tune in to Cool Fab Racing on the Cool Fab Racing website, on motorsport.radio, or on the social media pages. Please do keep all of your comments flooding in. It's been great to see and hear and read what you guys have been thinking over the weekend. So thank you very much, Kiko Giles. Been a great weekend from yourself. I'm Dan Marr, and until 2 weeks' time, it's goodbye from me.
Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
It is, and that was the latest happenings at Cool Fab Racing, the best British Mini Bikes Championship that there is in the UK. They're on the road to MotoGP, and they are the official partner series to BSB. Kiko Giles is here, rejoining us.
Just give me a moment, I just realise how dark it is, and it's because I have to rely on. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
stuck on the chair.
Kiko Giles. It's past his bedtime. He's getting a little delirious. So this is the Superbike Show, and my name is Lester. This is live, and we do this every single week usually. And Kiko Giles is here with us. And he's now turned his light on. Congratulations, well done. It does go dark in the evening. It's usually good for when you're doing a visual radio show, I must say. But anyway,
definitely. I'll turn it back on.
Well done, anyway, on commentating on last weekend at Red Lodge. Back in action, Cool Fab, and their commentators next weekend at Glanigors in North Wales.
So basically Liverpool. So get yourself over to the West Coast. We are sorry that we didn't give everyone's son and daughter.
That was just a brief wrap up. Don't freak out if your child wasn't mentioned. It wasn't a personal thing. They were very tired at the end of 9 hours of commentating, and I just literally prodded them with my cattle prod and said, talk some more and make sense. And that's barely
the best we could do.
Yeah, basically. That was that. Anyway, talking about other...
Well, before we move on, I said I had a statistic for the Moto3 enthusiast about Italians' love affair with
Italy.
Moto3, yes, and Bruno. If we have the likes of Fabio Di Gianantonio take a win at Bruno, they will become the sixth Italian, including Antonelli, to win their first Grand Prix ever at the Czech round. Valentino Rossi and Nicola Antonelli are two of them, but who are the other three so far? 5 have done it so far. 2 of them are still racing, Valentino Rossi and Alessandro Gramini. I'll just give him the third one away, sorry. 2 of them are still racing, Valentino Rossi and Nicola Antonelli. And the third one is Alessandro Gramini. The other 2, I want you to find out and let us know. If you win, well, if you get the right names, I will give you some experience points. And a slice of my 14-inch pepperoni pizza, which is on order at the moment.
No, he really won't. You're not getting any of that. So anyway, answers on a postcard if you, first of all, understood what the hell he was talking about, and secondly, have the answers to whatever he was talking about there. Something
Funny.
about Italian, something.
Italian Czech.
Yeah. Isn't that just
We
at
have
the
a
end
comment flooding.
Oh,
Sorry,
comment has flooded in.
To interrupt you, Lester. Jenny Dart says MotoGP. There's only one rider. There's only one consistent rider, and that's Master Marquez. The boos are just jealous people. That's her thoughts on that. Jay King is also tuned in. Hello to. Hey, evening, sir. But there, it's thin on the ground with comments at the moment.
I don't know. Is this some sort of sporting event, a Eurovision contest on or something that the kids are watching nowadays? Is Love Island on still?
No, that finished. I've been reliably informed by female friend it has been done. Yeah. And also you told me as well on Sunday that the last episode was Monday and it was an extra half hour long. So, Love Island's done. Although there is a new thing on Channel 4 I was watching earlier.
Is it called Let's Move On to Talk About Bikes? Because
In-Betweeners, and the advert they play, it was like tell the difference between love and lies, basically. It looks like a Poundland version of Love Island, which is a Pennyland version of something that's already Poundland. So
back to bikes then, as you often tell me when I go on a tangent and talk about Formula One.
Well, that's irrelevant.
And so before his eye falls out, we will talk about what's happening in their World Superbikes. A discussion about the various lineups. Chaz Davis, Tom Sykes, what's going on, who will go where, what's going to happen?
We're not sure. We really are not sure. Got to think that, well, Tom Sykes will stay in World Superbikes, although there is a very strong rumour he's going to come over to Great Britain. There's a rumour saying he'll go to Honda, but we're not sure in what championship. Will it be British Superbikes? Will it be World Superbikes? I can't imagine him coming back to Britain. Not yet. He's top of his game still. He's still a championship contender.
Could he be on a Ducati maybe?
I'd find it very hard. That rumour was a thing 2 years ago. The only reason I find it very hard, Marco Melandri is going to more or less stay there because he's Italian, and they want an Italian rider on an Italian bike. And the only other rider really that are going to want to keep Chaz Davies. He's been in championship running for the last few years, so no room there. Suzuki, if they do put a bike out, we're being told, as we've said many times, is Tony Elias and Bradley Ray's job. We're not sure on that confirmation yet, but that's how it's looking.
Yeah, the people in the know, who are more in the know than we are, or rather you are, anyway, suggest that it won't necessarily be a team for 2019.
Yes, a lot of people suggesting that, a lot of people saying that it's not going to happen. Although, rumour has it, as Adele said, that Suzuki are putting a bike out. Whilst we're on Suzuki news, we should have put this early on. Forgot to mention it, Roger Lee Hayden's announced he will retire from motorcycle racing overall. That's the older brother, I believe, of Nicky Hayden, or definitely a brother in of Nicky Hayden. He's definitely a brother. So yeah, Roger Lee Hayden, they're retiring at the end of the season. He's a Suzuki rider, that's why we bring that in there. But yeah, Suzuki, we're being told that's their rides are done. BMW on about coming back full time now. There is an opportunity at BMW, although MCN reporting that there is also maybe 2 more Yamahas to come. Apparently Yamaha are very eager to get Marco Melandri, so maybe he will not be at Ducati next year, but then they need a fast Italian, so who is there? Not many people around. I think Tom Sykes will end up at Red Bull Honda.
Interesting.
Because Jake Gagne, who is the... I think
your favourite.
No, we've both come to the conclusion that he is the ugliest motorcycle racer.
Whoa, I never said anything.
Yes,
on
we
air.
have. Fair. Off air now.
I never said anything. That,
Off air, yes, you have. He is the ugliest motorcycle racer.
I don't...
According to Mr. L. Forbes of Glossop, Derbyshire.
Don't stand by that comment at all. That's purely Kiko's.
He's returning to.
That's purely just wild allegations that are totally unfounded by Kiko. But Chaz Davis at Ducati, will he stay?
Might go back to America. That would open up the door for either PJ Jacobson, who is looking to stay in the World Superbike Paddock, but I think Tom Sykes is going to go there.
Okay.
What was you saying? Chaz Davis at Ducati?
Yeah, is he? What's happening with him? Where's he going to go?
I think he will stay at Ducati. Rumour had it a while ago he wouldn't, but where can he go? Really? Where can he stay? Kawasaki's done. He is the second place man in this championship. He can only go up, and the only manufacturer above him is Kawasaki, and they're occupied.
Not necessarily. He might not necessarily only go up.
The risk they have. This is the risk anyone has with moving teams. MV Agusta, rumour has it they might be pulling out. I've had that off 2 people now. BMW might be coming back as a factory team, which is going to do World Superbikes about as much use as having a 4th kneecap. Really, the BMW is a technical bike to ride. Loris Baz is no mug. He can't get on with it. Its wet weather setup is just atrocious. So for whatever reason, BMW not the most lucrative offer, I don't think, at the moment. But how desperate are you to stay in the championship? This is the conundrum that the likes of Tom Sykes, Chaz Davies are all going to face. I don't think they're going to go out of World Superbikes at all, but there's a very real possibility that they might not find themselves on great machinery. There's Sean Muir Aprilia, the Milwaukee Aprilia. Some people saying that. I'm not sure. I really am not sure about that at all.
Well, there's been riders, I suppose, rotating around different teams, as we know, certainly in the Stock 1000 in Great Britain, anyway. But do you think maybe it is important for the riders to still be moving around? Should there be this much action? Is it good for World Superbikes? Is it good for us, for the fans? Is it good for the riders? Is it? What's your thoughts on that? I
think, I'm sound controversially, I'm going down a bit more of the fan route with this. If you have a rider that and it wouldn't work in MotoGP. We're on about reviving World Superbikes. If you're going to have a revival of World Superbikes, you have to put in a kind of, I'm trying to think of a real life example, where after 3 years you have to move teams.
3 years? Why 3 years?
Because I think 3 years, first year you're on the bike, proving year. Second year on the bike, you were looking to win, depending on the team, races or tiles. Third year, you're looking to defend or improve. Now,
what about 5 years? I mean, that's enough time to...
The problem we're getting at the moment with World Superbikes is that Jonathan Rea, superb rider, but the Kawasaki is also a superb bike, and no one can get near him at most rounds.
Well, that's for everyone else to
worry about. Yes, but that's the problem. He's with Kawasaki for another 2 years, so you can almost assume that in another 2 years down the line, we're going to be having this same conversation on the Superbike show in 2020 that World Superbikes is still boring, in inverted commas.
I never said that.
I'm not. I think if we had some variation, riders moving teams because they have to, I think that'd be great, because if you've got someone like Jonathan Rea on a BMW, he'd probably be just as fast as other riders. I know it sounds like he's penalising him, but if you go down the aspect of pure motorsport, where it is as traditional as it is, it's very 1950s and 60s, where it's a race and, you know, there is no entertainment aspect to it anymore because it's been saturated by regulations. Formula One, I'm calling your name. World Superbikes has done that. Now they've brought in this Revs thing and allocations, etc. And
it's worked largely.
Has it though?
Well,
it's hard. No, I think
it's shifted the entertainment bar up
has a little. It? I don't know. Yamaha would be there anyway. They came on very, very good. We spoke to Alex Lowe's, don't forget, last year at the NEC. He thinks that they would have got there, and I think they would have. They were doing perfectly well at the end of last year. That's why I say watch out for them in the back end of this year. But Aprilia would have done the same. I don't think the rate of development has increased at all.
But a lot of people compare what they think now to... Like, for example, when we spoke to a lot of the riders at Motorcycle Live in, November, and there was so much up in the air back then about all these new rules coming in. Every single person we spoke to was really, really worried, very sceptical, didn't think it would work, didn't understand why they were doing it, in some riders' cases. But by and large now, you'd have to say, well, it's certainly in the first few races of the season, it's kind of made things a little bit more entertaining, slightly more unpredictable, you'd have to say, versus previous years.
I'm not buying it. I really am not. If they'd worked, we would have had Aprilia's on the podium long before Brno round.
I don't think it was ever going to be a dramatic change.
But what's the point in a change then? It's not working. Right, MV Augusta, for example, 4th place team last year, quite consistently a good 4th place outfit. Leon Camion could bag a few 4ths, really good at the end of the season. Jordi Torres isn't 4th. So there's one manufacturer straight away been pushed out. BMW, they've not had an amazing year, really. Let's face it, Loris Baz hasn't done what people thought Loris Baz would do. He's not really been up the front like Jordi Torres was last year. So again, BMW aren't really performing. I don't think it's done that much at all. I just think it's people going on and saying that regulation to do everything, and they've done more or less nothing. I'll quote Michael Howarth when he did the interview with us. The rules are neither here or there. They're not. There is no order to them. We can't make out what they are, and that was when they were putting the press release. There's something that needs to happen, and it's not regulations that needs to change.
Do you think it needs to be a lot more simplified? Everything?
Yeah, literally, just
board.
Change riders. After 2 or 3 years, overhaul. Put in
but you're still going to have...
stay. You can return to that team after 2 years away, but you cannot
just
total
stay with gimmick. That's just people
Yes,
not
exactly.
understand.
But so's having a reverse grid. That's a gimmick. And that works. It works for 2 or 3 laps. It's more entertainment than there is in race 1. If we go down the way of pure motorsport, you get things like Formula 1. People moan it's boring and this and that, and it needs rain to have a good race. I'll be honest, it's been good the last couple of years. But that's because, first of all, it's run by Americans, and they are way less strict on all the regulations and penalisations we get.
But it also gets more gimmicky as well.
What's wrong with that? It's
you're basically replacing one gimmick, i.e. technical regulations and stuff.
Any form of sport is for the fans.
Not necessarily.
The only ones that aren't gimmicky are literally pure bred ones like athletics that you need your legs to run with.
Ugh.
Or, there's none of that. Even for football. They've introduced the VAR now. They're catching on to the times when maybe there needs to be a bit more of a dynamic, a bit more of an aspect to a race than literally what is on track. I just think that if we keep it, continuity sometimes is brilliant, but
not for everyone else who's not winning races, though.
No, well, but also not amazing for the championship. I don't know, mate. I'm not the only one who thinks this, but it's like Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes in Formula 1. You need him to go to Ferrari. We need to have Max Verstappen in the Mercedes.
It's a ludicrous suggestion to just suggest that.
It's about as ludicrous as our transfer window.
No, that's an actual realistic one, because that stops a championship from becoming a bit of a laughing stock, because you're going to have riders moving all over the place.
So this prevents a championship becoming a bore fest. I'm not saying every single round. I'm not saying every single round change riders with teams and whatnot. It's not a school sports day choice selection. It is, after 2 years, the option to leave.
I mean, you're going to have riders who, at some point, you're going to literally filter out. If you keep chopping and changing all the riders, you're going to end up with riders who are roughly about the similar sort of level in performance. Yes,
but play by the rules or don't play at all.
But you're also going to have
saying, listen, we want people to watch our championship. It doesn't have to be the second championship to MotoGP. It can be something completely wacky and different, and that in the end could work.
I'm not sure Dorna have that as their number one priority though, because if it was, then they'd do a lot of deals with free-to-air TV channels, and they'd just like literally sort of do it as though as it kind of was. I don't want to kind of like hark back to the old days, but you know, that it'd be on the BBC and blah blah blah, and it'd be free-to-air. And everything.
The socialist is coming out in him now. Look.
But at some point, if you're saying the rider is the only thing that's causing the things that you think is boring to be boring, then surely, whereas really it's probably more to do with like the bikes, though, isn't it? And if you're not changing the bikes or the rules or the regulations, then you're probably just switching from one bore fest, and you can. The only difference is the name of the rider, really, because if you change the riders around, you're still going to have. Take, for example, like Formula One, you're still going to have Mercedes. Doesn't matter who's driving it. You're still going to have them number one, top, and it could be anyone in the seat.
Don't know. Do you know what? And I'm not saying that there's not another rider that can do what Johnny Ray's doing. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, think of it from a commercial point of view. So, people always say, "Oh, I'd love to see Marc Marquez on a different bike." Well, I'd love to see Jonathan Ray on a different bike. I'd love to see Tom Sykes on a different bike. We're going to get that next year. I'd love to see Chaz Davies on something else. He's been around most teams. So this is where you do it. You implement. You cannot stay in the same team for more than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but you're forgetting the people who don't want to see those things, and they're the people who you're actually talking about, the teams and the riders.
Yeah, well, I'd say, what? So Kawasaki keeps threatening to pull out if anything goes against them. Okay, go and pull out then. Go and do whatever you're going to do. Spend your MotoGP budget in MotoGP. Leave us World Superbike kids alone, and let us have a good ride. Let us have a good race. Like I say, play by the rules or don't.
I think it's
a very harsh line to take, but you're talking about a series that, let's be honest, needs saving. It's got better, but it just needs saving a bit more.
I don't know. Your suggestion of having like elephants roaming down the pit lane that's a bit too much, though. He literally did suggest that. I did literally just suggest that. Or tigers. But we had Julian Ryder on the show last year in November, and his argument was, why can't World Superbikes just carry on as it is? Because it's not doing bad, but it's not doing amazing. It's a number two championship for Dorna, isn't it? Shouldn't be, though. It should be a number one in something, a totally different sector. Push it, keep it way away from MotoGP. It's like brothers. I'm an only child, but get two brothers in your house, okay, and they instantly start competing with each other. But they're competing in each other in totally irrelevant things. So one might be a car mechanic and is very good. The other one might be a bridge engineer and he's very good. But they're competing against each other, right? Who's cleverer? Well, it's totally irrelevant. Split up. Just do good in your own jobs, in your own sectors. That's what World Superbikes should do. Instead of competing with MotoGP, completely go away from the trend and the norm and do its own thing. Don't do the split race thing. That doesn't work. Keep both races on the Sunday. That was its unique selling point. Keep it away. Don't start changing things just because MotoGP's working. MotoGP's working because it's MotoGP. World Superbikes in a MotoGP format isn't working. MotoGP's had its downs as well.
It has, but they've changed. They've changed to make it. And this is my point. You're saying that it's going to just be a different rider's name at the top. Well, no, because...
If that's the only thing you're changing, then, yeah, presumably the bikes will still be the same bikes.
Right, so we had the Claiming Rules teams in 2012, they came in MotoGP. Now, everyone was saying, oh, Dorna, just take it. All they're doing is filling numbers on the grid. All they're doing is... They're allowing cheaper teams to come in.
That worked.
Exactly. So I'm not saying this has to be a permanent thing, but for a decade, wouldn't it just be great to see some riders chop and change?
I don't think you can mandate it, though.
No, you could. Just say, listen, right, Johnny Ray, you've got until end of 2020. You have to either leave the championship, retire, or move teams. In ascending order. It
sounds a lot like my idea for a transfer window by another name.
And you've literally just said that works. So there you go. I'm right again. Let us know your thoughts on Motorsport Radio, at M Sport Radio on Twitter, Motorsport Radio on Facebook, www.motorsport.radio online, Motorsport Media. You can watch this back on our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, let us know all the various ways that Kiko is wrong. Right, moving on then to something more domestic and more unpredictable, because don't forget, kids, anything could happen this weekend at Thruxton, and it probably will.
It probably will indeed. I mean, Josh Brooks won at Thruxton last year. We said that before. Keep an eye out on Peter Hickman, though. Smith's BMW took his first win in British Superbikes 2017 last year at this circuit, because Josh Brooks fell off on with 2 laps to go out of the lead. Can't discount Leon Hassan. Didn't have a stellar Brands Hatch. Never looked like a race winner. However, Thruxton could well be there. James Ellison, we've said, needs a big result. We won't go over that. Danny Buchan, Jake Dixon, Luke Mossey, if he can get his bike sorted out, get his head into gear. Luke Mossey coming back to a track he had an awful accident at last year, and that was really the beginning of the end of the resultant of the current Luke Mossey. Tommy Bridewell as well. They are all in with a chance. So Buchan, Dixon, Mossey and Bridewell, all of them in with a chance for the podium. Thruxton always throws up strange results, so keep eyes out on Taron McKenzie, Chrissy Rouse, Martin Jessup always goes well at his local round, maybe even Tom Neve, top 10. Who knows? Thruxton is going to be incredible. It is by far my favourite circuit in the country. Keep an eye out for Gino Ria as well, and the OMG Racing Suzuki. All of them could well be a little bit of a surprise at the front. It's a very, very close.
Well, they can't all be a surprise.
I'm guessing that the entire grid will back till 19th place. The top 18 will qualify within a second of each other. That's possible. My prediction.
Yeah. Well, did they do that last year?
I think in 2014 it was 1.4 covered the entire grid. And it's only got closer since then.
Yeah, I think I can't quite remember exactly, but in practice anyway, they do that quite often, I think. Anyway, right, so, okay, that's Thruxton this weekend.
We have a comment coming from Jay King. Scott Redding, any news? No, he's still got his head down.
For now.
It's not, you know... He'll be racing in the Coolfab British Mini Bikes Championship next year, I reckon.
He's more than welcome.
He is, very much so.
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than
Danny Kent's
as are any stars.
Yeah.
If you want to come down and see where you all began, and sort of forgetting about...
join Brad Ray on the grid, who might, I believe, I'm told, by sources close to Brad Ray, he might actually be at Glenagores next weekend. Unconfirmed, but he might be. He was there last year and did okay on, I think he was on a pit bike at the time. But it's
a long way away from Lyd.
Yes, but it's a lot of fun. So you never know, and it's not. Hopefully, it's not clashing with any of his sponsor commitments, and it's that sort of thing. So, but yeah, if because I know anyway that he likes to attend his Coolfab racing, and even go out and have a race with the other competitors,
likes of Max Cook and
Charlie Nesbitt when he's. I mean, he's not been around.
Josh Watley.
Yes, of course, and many other names as well. So it'll be good to get someone like Scott Redding back into Coolfab as
and back winning races.
Exactly, yeah, why not? Even if it is just for a little bit of fun, wasting a bit of time till his next ride in MotoGP comes along, maybe. And maybe Danny Kent can join him as well, as he did do previously in, I think, 2016. He was at one of the races, which you can watch on YouTube, on the TDI Media YouTube page as well, which is also the place to watch all of the Coolfab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship action as well. So that's good. Right, have we covered just about everything? So we've had breaking news this evening.
Just in case you missed that, it was Jordan Gilbert's left Team IMR. Just in case you're coming in a bit late, Jordan Gilbert's left Team IMR.
Yes.
Stock 1000, latest shuffle about.
Yes, so that's a complete change around from the start of the season for that team.
Yes,
new
two
team.
riders down.
Yes, and...
3 if you include Adam McLean.
Okay, yeah, 3 riders gone from that team. Also, we should, I think, put a list on as to who's changed in Stock Thousands.
Yes, good idea.
Like
who's changed in the entire British Superbike Championship?
Yeah, because it seems like every time. I mean, there's been a few in the past few rounds already that you started the weekend. They've done practice and warm up and everything. By the time they got to quali, even after quali. Then someone's decided, either the rider or the team or both, have parted ways, let's say. So
Tommy
that
Boyd
could
didn't make qualifying.
Yeah, so that could still even happen. Who was it at the last run? Oh, something at Snetterton as well.
Knockhill was Taylor McKenzie.
Okay, something happened at Snetterton as well.
Carl Phillips left Gearlink.
Yeah, I can't even keep up. I don't know. I literally barely know who else is riding in Stock 1000. Let's get it sorted out, if we can, please.
Yes, race director.
Yeah, exactly. And Kiko, news on your Facebook page as well. I've had news that what the hell is going on? You've changed the name. Why?
Just to clarify, yes, it is the BSB fans group for BSB and support classes. Just basically wanted to change the name and move away from a kind of corporate style. We didn't want to clash with any sponsors, so Bennett's and Pirelli were in the title name. And also at the time, there was quite a lot of hatred for Colin Wright going on and some controversial topics going on in that group. So we wanted to peel away and didn't want to harm anyone's image, so we have done. So yeah, it's just same group, same shit's going to be in it, just under a different banner.
Exactly, just pipe down, people. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, wow, Jesus Christ, steady away.
Yeah, you're more savage than Kim Wilde fans. Anyway.
Yes. Talking of steps, Leicester, when are they next on tour? You should know this.
The hell would I know? But that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. That literally is the end of the show. Kiko, just explain a picture of...
Yes. This is next year's Moto 2 for MV Augusta. I'm joking. This is Carlo Uviali, ex-world champion, running or starting a MV Augusta with slightly elaborate fairing, I think is fair to say.
That's an egg, isn't it?
That is, I think they called it a dolphin. I think they actually called it a dolphin fairing back in the day.
It does look like a dolphin.
As you can see, Stefan Bradl was riding that day with the number 6. But yeah, that is a interesting fairing. That is something a little bit different to next year's Moto 2 bike, of course, which you can look back at later when we put this online fully, and you can rewind and look at it there. Have we got any images for the World Superbike track?
No, I wasn't able to get them.
What a disaster. The ones I emailed him, by the way, at about 10:30 this morning. We won't shame him anymore. We will put them up ourselves on Motorsport Radio Facebook page and Twitter page. You can take a look and find out what you think, and whether or not the Argentine World Superbike round, the first ever Argentine World Superbike round, the return to Argentina, is going to go ahead. The only thing that looked different there was these.
Just explain what you're talking about, because still people tune in and don't even watch. So.
Yes, we was looking at Tom Sykes' disgusting beard there. Huddersfield's finest forest being sorted on the biggest chin in the nation. I'm fairly sure of
that. You're more than welcome to come on the show if you want. Anyway.
Talking to Tom, he's not the only Tom who is doing relatively well for himself. Of course, former Motorsport Media co-owner, Tom Brooks, doing a grand job back in the CV paddock, I hear, last time out.
Yes, doing quite a lot in the old commentary box, as well as being a World Superbike feed commentator, something that we don't actually get to sort of enjoy, I suppose, here in the UK, because we get the other commentators. But yeah, the CEV, which I believe you will be able to hear as well. And I don't know if he's still doing the Talent Cup as well. I'm not sure.
Believe so.
Who's doing that? But yes, former Motorsport Radio founder and Motorsport Media co-founder Tom Brooks doing pretty well over there at their Dorna, as Kiko Giles keeps slipping him notes and as to ways to improve World Superbikes, only for them to be rejected, saying, "Mate, I'm not in that department, leave me alone." But that is all we've got
no
time
one's
for.
in that department at the moment.
Hey,
Everyone's
anyway,
out.
that is all we've got time for. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Superbike show. My name is Lester, Kiko Giles as well, and we will be back at some point next week,
Soon,
just before the live Glanagors spectacular from North Wales. It's the 6th round of 8 in Cool Fab Racing, the British Mini Bikes Championship, and it's streamed all live, all right here on coolfabracing.com and on motorsport.radio as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Final thought from you, Kiko?
Looking forward to Brno. The Czech round of the MotoGP Championship, is going to be alive and kicking tomorrow from 8 a.m. BT Sport 2 HD. Join everyone out there for that. And British Superbikes, of course, you can join on Eurosport. Thruxton promises to be an absolute thriller as always. I'm looking forward to next week's show. We'll be reviewing Thruxton and MotoGP from Brno, and looking ahead to MotoGP from the here we go, Zeltweg, then the A1 ring, then what is now the
Austria.
Red Bull ring, and Spielberg ring, the Austrian round in Graz, a lovely part of Austria.
Ding,
so we'll
ding.
be looking forward to that.
Right, Kiko's Pizza is ready, and we're done for another week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good night.
Motorsport Radio, the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.